Hello and welcome to WeLearn, Virtual Learning Network. This is session number 15 of Retail Marketing and the chapter is Organization, Structure and Management of Human Resources. The topics to be covered are Introduction, Human Resource Management in Retailing, Strategic Objectives of Human Resource Management in Retail, Factors Influencing Designing of Organizational Structure, HR for Indian Retail Scenario, and HR Aspects in Retailing, Tasks performed in a retail firm, organizational charts, long-term and short-term HR planning, part-time employment, human resource recruitment, recruitment policy, role of references, interviews, sources of job applicants, and orientation motivation. Introduction. Managing employees of an organization was earlier termed as personnel management. However, over a period of time with the growth in consciousness amongst the employer community, employees but the status of a vital resource. Thus, this was termed as human resource management. Humans found a vital resource for any business. As an old adage that business always runs by 3 M's: men, money, and material. So earlier, the way of managing employees of an organization was termed as personnel management, but with the growth and awareness in the employer community as well, this was changed to human resource management, and an organization only runs with the help of 3 M's, that is men, money, and material. Human resource management and retailing. Retailing is the human-centric industry. Retailing is basically involved by the humans. Customers come to the store not only because of the ambience or reasonable price or the quality and range of products, they value the interaction with store personnel. Moreover, it's this human factor which gives valuable input to the store management about the specific requirements of the customers. A proper human resource planning saves vital financial resources. A proper planning done as by human resource saves vital financial resources in the form of prevention of embezzlement, fraud, and also shoplifting. So when a proper human resource planning is done, then it saves vital important financial resources from the prevention of embezzlement or shoplifting. So the retailing is the human-centric industry, and it is also the customers just not only come to the shop for the ambience or the reasonable price, but they also come for the services offered by the store personnel. With the growing pace of retailing in India, the rate of growth of retail malls and markets may have been exceeded the population growth. However, keeping up with the pace of retail growth, no such development in the growth of training facilities for prospective retail employees has taken place. So, not such proper training facilities for the prospective retail employees has taken place, and this should be improved upon. Strategic objective of human resource management in retail. Each human being has distinct goals in one's life, and individual's behavior is directed by these goals and principles. Similarly, each organization has its own goals and responsibilities. The strategic objective of human resource management is to collectively integrate the capabilities and goals of the employees with the goals of the retail firm. So to basically align the goals, the vision of the employees with the goals and vision of the retail firm. Factors influencing designing of organizational structure. Scope of operations. With such difference in volume of transactions, the job requirements are also different. Nature of merchandise. The type of merchandise a store deals with has direct implications on the type of skill sets needed. So the type of product, services, visual display a store deals with has direct implication on the type of people who are needed to market those products. Type of organization. Depending upon the organizational structure, requirement for human resource changes. So as and when the work gets more, then the requirement for human resource basically increases. Human resource aspects in retailing. Retailing is very different from other industries. As in any other service industry, in retail, human aspect is of prime importance. With technological advances, that there have been changes in retail environment. However, this has only increased the importance of human resources. So retailing is very different from other industries, and in any service industry, retail In any retail industry, human aspect is very important, and also this has increased the importance of human resources and to manage those resources. In India, festival buying is one of the biggest sale earners for retail. Besides this, sale picks up on holidays, vacations, and similar occasions. More importantly, in the midst of tough competition and more demanding customer, a retail has to cash in. This gives a very strong message. All the employees of retail stores should be ready to sacrifice their holidays, festivals for the sake of business. So all the employees of the retail stores, they have to open the shop, they'll have to sacrifice on their holidays, festivals or for the sake of business, and they cannot shut down their shops. Human resource functions in retailing. Any typical retail organization would commonly need the following human resource functions. Each retail store needs to analyze the jobs to be offered to the prospects. Job analysis and job design. Each retail store needs to analyze the jobs to be offered. The job analysis involves a process of finalizing the job content and based on the findings preparing a design for the job. So the job analysis also involves a process of finalizing the job content, whatever is available, and based on that findings should also be prepared for the design of the job, and based on the findings prepare a design for the job. Task analysis. This is one method of facilitating the listing of tasks. First, the retailer or HR manager identifies tasks which are essential for the achievement of organizational goals. The task analysis process. For task analysis, the first step can be termed as task identification. Here, the retail manager is supposed to list all the tasks needed to run the business. Job description is a document which states as to what are the exact requirements of a particular job. However, in the present competitive scenario, we need to keep in mind that the employees do not work with a narrow scope. Once our job descriptions are ready, we must fix the standards of performance for performance appraisals and evaluation. So once the job descriptions are ready, we must fix the standards of job performance for appraisals and other evaluation. And also keeping in mind the present competitive scenario, we need to keep in mind that employees do not work with a narrow skill set or with a narrow mindset. Training and development. New developments are always taking place in the retail scenario. With the growth in retail, the consumers are maturing by the passing of every day. With the growth in retail, with the changes in retail, the consumers are maturing by the passing of every day. In India, whatever you experienced as a customer 10 years back is very different now. Retailing is the most dynamic field of business management. With such changes in the field, employees of any retail store ought to learn and train themselves to meet the new challenges. So, the employees in the field have to learn and train themselves to meet the new challenges and problems. Compensation and benefits. The HR department of any retail business needs to have policy guidelines regarding compensation and miscellaneous benefits to be given to the employees. Regarding the compensation, regarding the salary aspect, as well as the miscellaneous benefits which should also be given by the HR department. For this, the HR department needs to know similar policies and guidelines in similar organizations. Compensation and benefits at any point of time are the best way to satisfy the employees at the lower and middle level of management. So giving compensation, salaries and benefits at any point are the best way to satisfy the employees at the lower and middle level. Labor relations. The HR departments should know the rules and regulations with respect to labor relations. A harmonious labor relation always argues the efforts of an organization to achieve its goals. So all regional organizations, besides having an HR department, also hire legal practitioners for consulting from time to time. This has become necessary since each state has got different set of rules for human resource management with some standard rules. And also all regional organizations, besides having an HR department, they are also hiring legal practitioners, lawyers and as well as advocates. And this has become necessary, very important, since each state has got different set of rules, different regulations, different do's and don'ts for human resource management. Tasks performed in a retail firm. We can broadly divide the tasks performed in a retail firm under 4 heads: strategic management, Devising and implementing a retail strategy. For devising a retail strategy, the retailer must have a very clear understanding and complete information. Merchandise sourcing is the prime task of every retail organization that merchandise the products. The sourcing of those products is the prime task of every retail organization. Sourcing of merchandise is the major component of merchandising process as well. So sourcing of merchandise is a major component. Shop management. Store is the pivot for any retail store. Managing the shop involves various issues to be looked into, like store facilities, layout and display. So basically, store is the pivotal thing for every retail store, and managing the shop involves various issues to be looked into, like store facilities, layout and display, selling of merchandise, customer grievances, complimentary services like gift wrapping, home delivery. Prevent shoplifting and inventory shrinking. So prevent that. Organizational charts. These are charts which demarcates functional areas for various positions. For big retail chains may have scores of tasks to fulfill, thus their charts are more elaborate and complex. So the big retail chains, they have more scores of tasks to fulfill, thus their charts are more elaborate and more complex. Types of organizational charts. Functional charts. This organizational charts are based on company's functional activities. Divisional chart. In this case, a retail organization has various divisions or business units. Then such a chart is required. Long-term and short-term HR planning. A retailer has to focus on overall growth of his organization. Once the retailer is aware about his organizational growth pattern, it becomes easy for him to project future growth. Company growth has got all-round implications for the organization, especially human resource management. In the present day, even when every retailer feels the urge to expand into multiple stores, or diversify into multiple products ranges, that can also be done. Part-time employment. This type of employment is a result of coincidence of similar needs. Youth are presently on the lookout for augmenting their pocket money by doing some short-term assignment or getting some exposure. On the other hand, retailers do need additional staff at times, but not on a permanent 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. basis. Availability of such people helps them greatly. These assignments are dignified and at the same time paying. So these assignments are dignified as well as paying. Human resource recruitment. Recruitment means the critical function of the HRM department. Each retail store aims for hiring employees to fit into the organization very well. The recruitment process aims at identifying and attracting the best potential employees. As the first step of the recruitment process, we need to prepare a clear profile of the employee. Once the profile is ready, the second task is to decide on the kind of employee to be hired. Recruitment policy. Each retail organization should necessarily have a recruitment policy as a part of their human resource policy. This comes in very handy to guide the HR department in finalizing the recruitment process. Policy guidelines of any organization are necessary since they develop the culture of the organization and at the same time maintain transparency in operations. So policy guidelines in any organization are very important, are mandatory. So in this way, when the guidelines are there, then at the same time there is transparency and there is accountability which is maintained in tasks and as well as operations. And also each retail organization should necessarily have a recruitment policy as a part of their human resource policy as well. Role of references. Each retail organization, while hiring and employing, would like to be sure about the competency and integrity of the candidate. Therefore, each organization nowadays appreciates letters of reference from credible persons. So, it appreciates letters of reference from credible persons. This, to some extent, reduces the risk of hiring strangers without any information about their integrity or character. Interviews. This is generally the active stage of the recruitment process. It follows the preliminary stages of advertisements, shortlisting of candidates from the received application forms. So it follows the process, it follows the active stage of recruitment process. So basically preliminary stages of advertisements, shortlistings of candidates from the received application forms. It, if need be, a preliminary information seeking is also done from the respective references. In present context, it's very critical that not only people with integrity enter the organization as well as employees. Interviews are usually one-to-one interaction between the applicant and retailer representatives. So it's basically an interview. It's basically an interview which is conducted, or a formal meeting which is conducted before the employee as well as the employer. Sources of job applicants. It's very essential that the retail organization knows the various sources of job applicants. For instance, if a retail organization wants to pick up youngsters, mostly college graduates, then it would be a wise decision to visit the college campuses. However, they have to be very sure about their own image in the market and then visit such campuses which can appreciate and associate themselves with such a store brand. So they have to be very sure, the people have to be sure about their own image in the market, and then visit such campuses which can be appreciated and through which one can associate himself. Orientation. It's essential that the selected candidates are not directly absorbed into the organization. They should be first put into a small orientation program. Such programs help the new employee to be comfortable and confident about his role in the firm. More importantly, he/she develops an identity as member of the family and not as an alien. So basically, such programs help the new employee to be comfortable and confident about his role in the firm. And the selected candidates are not directly absorbed into the organization. They should be first put together into a small orientation program. Motivation. Every employee of any retail organization need motivation at all points of time. You should appreciate all those employees in every retail store working under stressful atmosphere at times. Working hours can be long and boring as well as mentally demanding. So sometimes the employees of any retail organization they don't feel the need to stay back, but they should stay back under stressful atmosphere at times, and that working hours can be long and boring and as well as mentally demanding. Each employee likes to be encouraged and motivated. The need and type of motivation differs from position to position and person to person. But each employee needs inspiration, motivation to perform. Only then the person would feel confident, and that differs from position to position and person to person. Abraham Maslow. Physiological needs comprises of the basic needs of the human beings like food, shelter and clothing. This is a need which is faced by an individual in the starting of his career just out of college. At this point of time, the individual looks only for the basic requirements of his life. So Abraham Maslow says that there is a hierarchy of needs. At first lies the physiological needs, then lies the safety and security, then lies the self-esteem needs, and then lies the self-actualization. Once such needs are satisfied, and an individual aims for the next levels of safety and security in his life. At this stage, an individual is looking for permanency of job and some sort of settlement in life. This stage is characterized by meeting two basic necessities but does not have a sense of security. It's being characterized by meeting basic necessities but does not have a sense of security. Once the permanency comes in, an individual starts aiming for recognition and social status. At this stage, an individual aims for high social status and looks forward to achieve social needs by joining clubs or associations. The last stage is where all the necessities have been met. This is the stage where money, status or any type of need does not remain unsatisfied. So in the last stage, all the necessities have been met. Money, status or any other type of need does not remain unsatisfied. So it should not remain unsatisfied. Herzberg's two-factor theory of motivation. This theory classifies the two factors of motivation as hygiene factors, which are basically the physiological and safety needs of Maslow's model. The motivators here are the esteem needs and self-actualization. According to the theory, lies and tatters are extrinsic to the individual and motivators are intrinsic to the individual. McGregors Theory X and Theory Y. Theory X simply lays down that employees, if not supervised and not motivated with negative motivation, would not like to contribute to the cause of the organization at all. So, on the other hand, theory Y views employees as self-motivated and enjoy work, but would also like to contribute to the organization without any supervision or pressure. So, without any supervision or pressure, they have to contribute to the organization, and in McGregors and in the above, there has to be contribution made as it would like to be the cause of the organization at all. McGregors theory, another theory which was propounded on the basis of these two theories, was theory Z, derived from the above theories, to prove that individuals need both positive as well as negative motivation depending upon the circumstances. So, depending upon the situations and circumstances, positive as well as negative motivation is required. Therefore, it can be suggested to the human resource department of a retail store to motivate their employees depending upon an individual mindset as well as the stage of his life. So, therefore, basically, the employees in the retail store, they are also being motivated in accordance with the individual mindset. Motivating employees through job enrichment, increasing features of a job contents and work experience to work planned program is called job enrichment. The sole purpose of job enrichment is to increase work motivation and work satisfaction, which in turn increases the productivity of an individual employee. We can look into 5 areas which can enrich the job. So the 5 areas can be in your own field, in your own department, in your own work, the profile which you are doing, those can be the 5 areas. So that was all about the way the organization runs and organizational operations. These are some of the questions. Explain how you will assess human resource requirements of a retail organization, and explain the relevance of organizational charts in manpower planning. That's all. Thank you. Happy learning. We learning.